Major and minor triads are the two chords you're going to use most often, particularly early on. Just learning these once or learning how to figure these out isn't really enough. These are such a basic part of our musical vocabulary. We need to practice them so they become completely fluent and automatic, so you can find them and recognize them without thinking about it. That way you'll be more fluent using them in actual music. Using this video, you need to be at your piano or keyboard, and I'm going to help you practice being able to find them quickly. There's 12 different keys on the piano, so there's 12 major chords and 12 minor chords. I'm going to be doing half of them in this video, half of them in the next video, and then in the third one, I'm going to mix them all together. And within each video, I'm going to be grouping them together too in a kind of systematic way to build you up. This is likely something that you'll need to revisit and refresh occasionally, so you can always come back and go through these videos again. I recommend doing that if things ever start to feel a bit hazy. Or over on my Patreon page, I'm going to be doing extended versions of all these videos that go on for much longer. Over there, it's easier to get away with longer videos, so there's a link for that in the description if you want to take a look and see if that's something you want to do. So in this video, we're going to cover major and minor chords, beginning from the notes C, D, E, F, G, and A. That's 6 out of the 12 possibilities. We're going to do major first, then we'll do minor, and then we're going to mix them together. I'm going to go through each of the chords first and show you some tips on grouping them together to help you memorize them and find them. But if you want to jump on ahead to any of the parts where I'm actually testing you finding the chords, then I have put timestamps in the description. And if you weren't sure, these are all root position shapes we're testing. So that's just one of each note of the chord in order, starting from the root being the note that's just the name of the chord. Playing actual music, you end up spreading the notes from a chord out in lots of different ways, but we need to get those original positions to play the chord in confident first. So let me go through the chords first. Out of the 6 major chords, C, D, E, F, G, and A majors, I like to divide them into 2 groups by how the shapes look. So the 3 chords, which are all white notes, this is going to help you chunk them together and find them a little bit easier, hopefully. So the 3 chords that are all white notes are C major, F major, and G major. If this is all new to you, I have some other videos on major and minor chords you can check out before we test them. And then the 3 chords that have a black note in the middle, sometimes I call these the triangle shapes because if you connect the dots, it kind of makes a triangle, are D major, E major, and A major. So if we just try and remember those groups, C, F, and G are all white notes, D, E, and A have a black note in the middle. Now, a mistake that people sometimes make is, let's say they're playing an E major. In fact, it's usually E this happens with. They go to play an E major and they think about the black note in the middle, but they accidentally play this black note instead. This F sharp instead of G sharp. So as well as remembering there's a black note in the middle, try and think of all these major and minor chords as roughly being symmetrical. It's not exact, but you're going to have 3 notes in there. They're pretty much evenly spaced. So at a rough glance of the shape, that looks completely off to me because we've got 2 notes close together here and a much bigger gap here. So have a little warm up on those before we get started. So you can pause the video for a second and go through the white note ones and then go through the ones with the black note in the middle. Just a word on fingers. There's all different ways you end up using your fingers to play chords when you're really playing. For now, I just recommend using whatever's comfortable. I think the best thing's usually 1, 3, and 5, or 1, 2, and 4. You might see me doing some weird things. I'm often trying to keep my hand out the way of your view at the same time, so I'm just going to do whatever I need to do. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to spend a couple of minutes. I'm just going to name a chord, one of those 6 chords, and you've got to find it. So your job's going to be to remember which of those chords has a black key in the middle. So you want to avoid accidentally playing that for E major instead of that, because that would be E minor. And vice versa, if you want to play F major, you've got to remember it's all white notes and hasn't got a black key in the middle, because that would be F minor. Okay, one more thing. As I do this, it's going to be impossible for me to find the perfect speed that's going to suit everybody. So just to point out, if you don't already know, you can change back the playback speed on YouTube. here on desktop and here on mobile. So you can adjust that if things are going a little bit too fast or a little bit too slow for you. And one extra tip, if you do have a moment of doubt about which shape it is, I'd like to try and remember like that because we want to remember these as one thing. But you can also remember a little bit about how these chords are built. So a major third is what we need in the middle. So between the root and the middle note, we need the gap of a major third. And a major third is 2 whole steps. So you're looking for 1, 2 whole steps. If you can only see 1.5 whole steps, that's the wrong thing. That's a minor third. So for these major ones, we're looking for 2 whole steps. And the outside 2 notes is always a fifth. All of these, the outside 2 notes is going to be, they're both going to be white keys in this case of this group that we're doing. And they're all the same distance. So you want to get used to the feel of that distance. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of minutes. You need to be at your keyboard, at your piano for this. I'm going to name a chord. You find it on your keyboard, and then I'll show you the right answer after a few seconds. Okay, here we go. So the first one is F major. Okay, that is here, it's all white notes. Next one is D major. You should have that, black key in the middle, F sharp. Next one is G major. All white notes again. C major. All white keys. A major. Triangle shape, black key in the middle. F major. All white notes again. E major. Triangle shape with the black key in the middle. Whoops. D major. Another triangle shape there with the black key in the middle. G major. All white notes. A major. Triangle shape, black key in the middle. F major. All white notes. E major. Triangle shape, black key in the middle. D major. Just quickly, if this video is helpful for you, then please click the like button, as that would be really helpful for the channel. And let me know how you get on with this in the comments. Okay, so we'll move on to the minors then. So the minor chords will all be starting from the same notes as we just practiced. Now the cool thing about this is the minor chords just move to the opposite shape. So those 3 white note major chords that we played, C, F and G, when we turn them into minor, just by lowering the middle note, lowering the middle third, or flattening it by a half step, we now get C, F and G minor. So they've morphed into the opposite shape. These are now the triangle shapes. They have a black key in the middle. And then if we look at D major that we had before, when we lower that major third to its minor third, then we get D minor, which is all white keys, and that's the same for the other ones. So D, E, and A minor are all white keys. The shapes are all back to front to the previous group. But everything else I said is the same, about like the outside two remain the same, the fifths is the same, but now you're looking out for that gap of a minor third between the root and the middle note, which is 1.5 whole steps. Last time we were looking for a major third, which is 2 whole steps. Now we want 1.5. Okay, so we'll do another couple of minutes of this, exactly the same process. Here we go. Okay, C minor. You should have this. C minor has a black key in the middle. A minor. A minor is all white notes. E minor. That is all white notes as well. F minor. F minor has a black key in the middle. G minor. That has a black key in the middle. D minor. That's all white notes. G minor again. Black key in the middle. E minor. All white notes. D minor. All white notes. C minor. Black key in the middle. And F minor. Black key in the middle again. Now we're going to mix those majors and minors together, and we're going to do this 2 ways, recognizing them and naming them, and then finding them again like before. And the point of that is to just mimic real life situations. So now you have to remember which shape to create on which one. So C, F, and G major were all white keys. C, F, and G minor have a black key in the middle. D, E, and A major had a black key in the middle. So D, E, and A minor are all white keys. And if you're stuck, remember the thing you want to try and reference is whether you're finding 2 whole steps between the root and the middle note, the third, for a major third, or 1.5 whole steps for a minor third. That's the thing that you can check. My kind of method for learning chords is to really memorize majors and then adjust them to find everything else. So that can start with minors. So if you just memorize the majors, then that's only 12 keys to memorize. And then if you learn the trick to changing them to minor by lowering that third, well, now you've memorized 12 things, but you know 24 chords. And if you think about it, when you extend that to new types of chords, you just learn 1 new pattern and then you keep getting 12 new chords out of it. Obviously, you have to get good at seeing patterns, but that's another topic. All right, so we're just gonna do a few minutes mixing them together where I'm going to play these chord shapes and you're gonna say aloud the name of the chord. So you need to say the name of the chord, the note that I'm starting from, that's the easy bit. And then you've got to say major or minor by recognizing the shape that I'm making. And then I'm gonna tell you the answer afterwards. So I'm just gonna turn the sound down for this because obviously it's important to be able to hear the difference between major and minor chords. It's just not what we're testing here, so I don't want that to give it away. Okay, here we go. So what is this chord? That is an F minor. This one. That is a D minor. That's A major. That's G major. That's D minor. That's F minor. That's E major. That is A major. And that's G minor. C major. F major. D minor. That's A minor. We'll do 3 more. That's G minor. That's E major. And that is D major. And to finish off, we'll do 3 or 4 minutes of finding all of those mixed together again. This is probably slightly harder than naming them. Okay, here we go. F major. It's this one here, all white notes. C minor. Black key in the middle. A minor. All white notes. G major. All white notes. E major. Triangle shape, black key in the middle. D major. Black key in the middle. G minor. Black key in the middle. D major. Black key in the middle. E minor. All white notes. A minor. All white notes again. F minor. black key in the middle, D major, black key in the middle, C major, all white notes, A major, black key in the middle, G major, all white notes, D minor, all white notes, F major, all white notes, E major, and that one's got a black key in the middle. I hope that was helpful. Remember to come back for the next part where we're going to be practicing the chords that start from the black keys and B. Come back and do this video again if you need a refresher, or you can check out the extended version over on Patreon. Thanks for watching.